Did being president help you with the ladies a little bit? That little flex?
Where I was confronted by a fan who was really upset that I did this ad, and they were like, "Are you seriously about to do this?"
What's going on, everybody? My name is Brandon, and welcome back to another episode of the Real Sensitive Guy Hours. We have a fantastic show ready for you today, but before we get to that, we have a guest today. It's not just us girls this week. We have young Gregor, who we know as just Greg, a content creator with over 230,000 subscribers with a focus on creating Rainbow Six Siege content that gives comprehensive how-tos with meta, witty jokes. He also creates masterful, in-depth commentary about gaming-related content. For example, his Modern Warfare campaign video and the controversy behind it, a member of Disrupt Gaming, and ex-president of Theta Xi, and finally, an avid tweeter about everything that includes politics, boomers, and more politics. Ladies and gentlemen, young Gregor. Let's fucking go, boys.
Dude,
Thanks, guys.
how much did he pay you? And can I get a
I
cut?
did not know that he was an ex-president of Theta.
That
Let's
was a
go.
great analysis. Did
Right?
you have that written
Makes
down?
I had that written
Makes
down.
sense now.
Yeah, he has to,
Makes
Few
sense.
bro.
cards?
2 terms.
Two terms.
terms.
He actually was president at the same time that I was,
Yeah.
relatively. We both
makes
suffered
sense.
together.
I was 2-term treasurer, if that counts for something.
Counts for something, just not enough.
It's
Oliver was a
alright.
hell of a treasure. He got on everyone's asses.
Yeah, it sucks.
it's a job, dude. It's a 9 to 5, and you don't get paid. It's like,
It's true.
and then everyone's like, "I can't believe you did this thing minorly incorrectly.
I mean, sometimes you
Oh,
do
yeah.
get paid when you're treasurer,
Can't believe you did this."
but most times you get excuses.
Sometimes.
yeah,
Does
At
happen.
least that's my synopsis as an outsider.
Ooh.
As
Seeing
far as president goes, you also have to fulfill the roles of everybody else. I was lucky
That's
enough
true.
to have a great treasurer like Oliver, so I didn't really care about finances.
Oh, I had great people around me, but the worst part for me was having like a million different vice presidents because we did e-board shuffle like all the time. 'Cause it was like it was a really turbulent time in the chapter's history. So it's like bouncing opinions off of like a wide range of people. Like pretty much, it seemed like every semester I had like a new group of people on the desk next to me.
Now,
I
be
could
honest, because I know it helped me. It helped me out for sure. Did being president help you with the ladies a little bit? That little flex? It helped me. I'm gonna be honest. I was like, yeah, that's right.
I mean, I only moved like into Shepherdstown when I was president. So it was like I wasn't like I had to commute like 30 minutes like to and back like
Oh,
freshman,
man.
sophomore year, you know, so that didn't really make it easy, right?
As far as just like general
but-
popularity, though, I feel like you get a boost. Like if you're at a party, you know who the presidents are. I wasn't even in fraternities, and I knew who the presidents were at the party.
There's certain positions
I
that
felt
you
like
can
a main
hold.
character on the show. you
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
I'm main character.
Just like-
on
Dude,
the
this is
show.
cool. Two
Yeah.
Well,
former
there's
presidents
certain
can swap
positions that
stories.
you can hold within a chapter that like give you like a higher upbringing than others.
Mhm.
Like everybody knows who the presidents are. Everyone always knows who the social chair is.
Just
or
name
they have to
recognition.
know.
I don't know
Exactly.
who that. As a person who's not, I think presidents are known by people outside of the fraternity and sorority, even as long as they're
Exactly.
a frequent participant of parties.
They're an avid goer.
Name recognition is weird. 'cause,
Social
like, people-
chairs, though.
They just come up to you and be like, "Oh, hey, what's up? Your name here?" And it's like, "Who? What?"
Social
I've,
chairs are.
You
I
kind
don't
of get
know.
that a lot. You have people come up to you and be like, "Hey, yo, Greg or Brandon, what's good, bro?" And they dap you up. You're like,
Yeah, and
"Who
you're
the
just like,
fuck are you?"
"Who?" You're like,
I
"Oh,
think-
hey, what's up, guy?"
My dude, my guy.
Right,
Yeah.
you try not to be rude. You don't want to be a dick, but you're like,
Everybody you don't know is either my dude or my guy.
I think everybody who just like is the kind of person who talks to everyone has that thing going on.
Mm-mm.
Like maybe it was just because I was drunk and couldn't remember.
Oh,
That's what I was gonna
But
say. It's like
I have a lot of people come up to me
people
too.
do
and
that all the time
like-
at parties. They run up to me at parties, and they're like, the worst part is with girls who like come up to you and they're like, "Oh my god, your name, hello, hi," and you're like, "Fuck."
I don't know, man. For some odd reason, I always
no
have.
clue. who
Fucking
this-
girl does this shit. They'll play
idea.
the game with you. Be like,
Yeah.
they'll give you the sex eyes. They'll be like,
You
"What's
don't-
my
you don't-
name?" And you're just like, "Fuck."
Every girl doesn't sound like that, but I
See, I didn't have that problem.
appreciate
I saved Brandon from that problem. That was my job.
That's the test. That's the
I
test.
forgot
It's a
guys'
test.
names like once in a
And you
while,
fa-
but I
and-
would never
and it's
forget a
like,
girl's name.
every
Brandon's
time
like,
that
you're the name
happens.
guy.
Yeah,
You're
every
the
time that
name
happens
guy.
to me, I'm just like, I failed. Sorry.
I just run.
See,
I
I
literally
don't
just
fucking
run in a
get
different
that.
direction.
See, I never got that because people always always knew who the fuck I was apparently. So they would all like I wasn't always the first one that people came to, but you bet for damn sure at a party, all those people.
Oh,
That was a lot funnier than it actually.
it's like when you get cut off in Modern Warfare when you're playing Search and Destroy. Oh my God, Predator!
No.
that's so-
No, you know that from that. If you go to a party, there's certain people that'll come up to you like right away and be like, "Yo, what's good?"
Exactly.
I like it. I like it, Will.
Frequent party goers.
That was a good comeback.
That was great. That was perfect.
Frequent party goers will walk into a party and like you'll see the other frequent party goers and you're like, oh dude, I'm so glad he's here, but like he's always there. I'm so glad she's here, but like you knew she was gonna be there.
My favorite is like running into people that you know like on a name to name basis at the parties only, and then you see them outside of the party, and you're like, wait, oh, they're an adult. They're like,
Yeah, you're just like this is like this is your
contribute to
business
society.
self.
yeah, they like do things besides
Or
get
it's-
drunk on Saturday.
Or it's like
But
people.
the one thing that's always it's the random ones that like the people that you see like in your classes or outside like walking around school that you do know on a
She
name to name
freak.
basis, but you know they don't go to parties and they come to the one party and it's like seeing like
Yeah, it's like a celebrity just showed up.
it's like seeing a wild animal like getting like rescued or something like
Coming out of his den.
Or you'll
Yeah.
see, I know you guys know these girls that do this, where they would have in their bio like this Bible verse, Corinthians
Oh my
14,
God.
16, and then you see them like at the bar on a Saturday, just making out with
Going
like four
crazy.
different dudes.
Yeah.
No,
or you see
no,
them
that.
like chugging like a bottle of Jack Daniels.
Oh yeah.
That's acceptable.
Hey man, they can still love God. They can still love God. All right.
It's weird. It's weird when you see like people that are like super goody two shoes in like all your classes. You're like, oh, they'll never come out to a party. And then you see them going crazy. You're like, what the fuck?
How do they balance
was
it all?
me.
Who
That was me
corrupted you?
freshman
The
year,
social
freshman year in
plus the
college.
grade.
Yeah.
How do you do it?
I
Freshman year
mean,
in college,
people
I didn't
people
do
gotta go
that.
crazy once in a while. I guess.
Now, I mean, we all did it, you know?
Before,
yeah, but we weren't goody two shoes.
No.
yeah, we were
No.
drunk on a Tuesday at
If I was
we
in-
were already corrupted.
when I was in high school, you wouldn't have been able to catch me dead at like a high school party. I can't think of the I didn't
I
go
never
to
did
any
anything before
no
college.
house parties. Nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
same.
just college. That's honestly better off, I think. Because
I think so, too. When you're
Brandon
in
got
high
me
school,
to
you're
my first
retarded.
one.
if you're
You
if
get
you're
more
pe- if you're
involved.
peaking at high school, that's just like I'm sorry, man.
That's cringe, bro.
You
That's
can
cringe,
still
bro.
you can still peak in high school, but like, come on, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Brandon
I
got me
wasn't
to my
trying
first
to.
one, so
I hated high school.
I think
Yeah,
it was
I
rated.
knew out the gate
Yeah, it
that
was.
that wasn't the place where I was going to peak.
I know that like, there's all these people that are like, you see the posts, like the inspirational quotes and stuff, where it's like a picture of like the locker rooms, and it's like, you're gonna miss this, and it's like, I don't.
I zero. I don't think I've ever
No.
missed.
do you guys still get
You
those
know all the
dreams?
cringe shit.
Do you guys still get those dreams from high school where you're like you're late for class or some shit like that?
Dude, I get
All
those
the
about
fucking
college.
time.
I get those
I
about
literally-
college.
I literally had a dream like a couple of nights ago. I graduated like almost a year ago, and I'm having dreams about like not turning in an assignment on time.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's
And I'm just like,
insane.
what? And, like, I literally, like, you know how sometimes, like, you can catch yourself out of a dream when you're like, wait, this doesn't make sense. And it was like that moment there where I was just like, wait,
You still wake up
I-
terrified though.
yeah,
You're
you're just like, I
I feel it.
graduated, like what? And like the professor's like, did you? And then I wake up and I'm like,
Did I?
Oh
did I gra-" and I'm like, did I graduate?
It's
Shit.
crazy how those.
So before we get into coronavirus, because I know that this shit's gonna devolve into coronavirus. That's just how
Oh.
it's gotta go.
Please, not for too
Especially
long.
after
I
the
just-
updates that
It
happened.
is what it is right now.
Well, we kind of have to.
the
But I
reason
want to
why we're on
watch. I
Discord.
want to listen. I want to hear some YouTube questions from your boy Young Gregor. So first of all, like, so you have a pretty successful channel, not just subscribers wise, but like views wise as well. Consistently, you do really well on content that your channel is kind of geared for, is Rainbow Six.
Yeah.
How clickbaity would you say your titles are on a scale of 1 to 10?
Not many. I watched some today. They are not very clickbaity. What Brandon said, do some background info on this man.
And I am not against the clickbait. I am not against the clickbait.
I'll have you know, I looked
gotta
at
play the algorithm.
I looked at the Gregor Wikipedia page, and it says right here with the citation that. No, I'm kidding. I don't have a Wikipedia page.
That's a flex right there.
I'm not notable enough yet.
I hard believed you.
I did too. I thought there was a big meme page.
Clickbait is such a subjective term. Like I think a lot of internet zoomers, they try to like accuse people of clickbait all the time. It's like kind of like a gotcha kind of question where it's like, there was this thing in the video, but it wasn't in the way that I thought it was going to be based off of the thumbnail and title. So it's clickbait. And it's like, I never, it's kind of a dumb, like, it's a dumb term to use in a negative sense to me, because I think that in a sense, working online, in online media, any kind of advertising is bait. That's the whole point. If it doesn't bait you a little bit, then it's not effective advertising. It's not effective marketing.
You literally get taught in communications classes literally how to write clickbait, and it's like if you write a title, it needs to pose a question, it needs to intrigue the reader, it needs to make people want to click it. And if that's clickbait, it's psychology. Like it's not. There's a certain level where it's clickbait, and there's a certain level where it's good fucking marketing.
Now, and what is so bad about clickbait? Like everybody has their panties such in a bunch about clickbait.
That's the thing. Like
I guess when it's
this is the thing that the internet does, is where they take terms and they make them into what they're not. You can't really get everybody on the internet to agree on what we should call a certain like slang term, you know. But I think if there was an internet term dictionary and we all pitched in, you guys, we could all do it together. I think we could all agree it should just be for like lying. Like if you're lying to your audience in the thumbnail, and this is something a lot of I'm not going to say who, but there's a lot of Fortnite YouTubers that do this crap where they go like, oh, like character in Fortnite, but it's not really that character in Fortnite. It's just like a skin or something that looks like that character in Fortnite.
Yeah,
it's very common.
Yeah.
Like the more it tends to, the clickbait argument tends to come up, I think, more often with channels that have a high degree of saturation, where it's like these guys have so many hits. Like they'll put out a video of them eating breakfast, and they'll get like 2 million hits like right off of the jump because they just have a following that freaking huge,
bonkers.
Right? So it's just absolutely crazy, and they can get away with saying, Ant-Man in Fortnite, shit like that, and then they can get away with it.
That's true.
But I think that in my personal definition of clickbait is just like lying to your audience, like saying something is in the video when it's not there. I don't do that. Anytime I have something in the title of my videos or in the thumbnail of my videos, it might not be at the beginning of the video, but I try to write it like a news article. Like whenever I do patch notes for Rainbow Six, a video that got more hits than any of my operator how-tos recently actually was one about a Tachanka rework, because that's just a loaded term that gets a lot of search traffic to it, because everybody wants to know what's up with the Tachanka rework. It wasn't the first thing that came up in the video, right? Like it took a while to get there, but it was like Tachanka rework, Legion nerf, like a variety of things that were happening to the game. But it's eye catching. That's the whole point. I'm trying to
draw them in.
Yeah, I'm enticing people to click on the video. That's the whole point.
Now, misleading things should definitely be labeled clickbait, but I think clickbait, like the term itself, has devolved, and now people are just calling like any like all caps attention grabbing type title. They're just automatically saying clickbait, even if there is nothing misleading.
Yeah,
that's true. I could see that,
and that's what I think is stupid as shit, honestly.
Nah, it's dumb.
It's
Like,
it's
why hate a
honestly just
video
trying
if
to
it's
people
not being
to say,
misleading? If it's
gotcha.
not, if there's not a reason to hate it, why hate it?
Well, people are always going to be mad about something on the
It's
internet.
true.
because
You can't
they
please
can-
everybody.
True.
They have an open platform to say whatever they want, and
Yeah,
they're gonna
often
use it.
YouTube has been a place for
So.
butthurt people.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it be.
That's how it be all the time.
I mean, no one's gonna be happy either way, whatever you put out there. So
Not to like
I
trash
wanna-
YouTube the whole night, but I have another question.
Okay.
Do you like, does this doing YouTube for like a job feel volatile because of YouTube? I
Extremely.
don't know like a super huge amount about
the
the whole
time.
situation, but I know I hear they change their terms and conditions a lot and stuff
It's-
like that.
Change their algorithm all the time.
It's more like the adpocalypse. Like a lot of people are still. It's kind of like the financial crash that happened in like 2008. You know, maybe around 2009, 2010, people were still talking about how the housing market sucked, but it was on like a recovery, right? And people were figuring out, they were adjusting to it. With YouTube, whenever they do a really, really big algorithm change, it takes a long time for everybody to get adjusted to that. And I
Know
think
what's going to get the most views and stuff like that.
yeah, and it really just comes down to YouTube. This is why I get frustrated with people who, you know, work in this kind of field, and they're like, "Oh, I'm not a political guy. I can't get involved in politics." Like, I don't consider myself a political guy, right? I'm not like projecting. I'm just saying, like, people who adopt the whole like, "Oh, I have no opinion" sort of thing when they're working on this platform. I think it relates to online media largely because a lot of these advertisers are worried about their advertisements being placed on content that they don't want to be associated with.
What's so like weird about this whole thing is like none of this has ever been done before. So when crazy things happen, like when literal
Completely
kids were
uncharted
being being directed towards like basically porn, and people were making millions upon millions every single year, and advertisers get scared. It's like, well,
That
what the
shit's
fuck
nuts.
is YouTube going to do? But at the same time, like on the opposite side, they're just never gonna get everything right, and you know
it's because it's so big.
Yeah,
It got way too big for them to control.
Yeah, there's so much
way
content.
too fast. And the thing is, when you're talking about the politics argument, there's a lot of people that, you know, YouTube likes to say, I think, that they don't have like a left leaning sort of bias. Every one of these kinds of companies likes to say like, oh, we're not biased, we're not this, we're not that.
Everybody's
think,
biased.
I think first of all, everyone is biased.
Everybody's
so that's not
biased.
accurate. And yeah, you're right. Precisely. I think more transparency would help with that. I just prefer if a lot of these companies just came out and said like, hey, like we're Democrats, and then or another company comes out that says like, oh, hey, we're Republicans, but you're not. That's not going to happen. There's no tech startup in, I don't know, what's a super conservative city? Austin.
I think so.
Anywhere
there's
in
no-
Texas.
There's not. Yeah, there's not.
Tell ya.
There's no like Republican Twitter, right? So a lot of these
Sure, you don't
companies
see that often.
just they have like a lot of
I beg to differ. Infowars.com is the best source for all conservative media.
Oh god.
Yeah.
the blaze.tv.
All right, this
It's all
politics
conspiracy.
stuff.
It's all about it. Yeah.
Let's go fucking Bernie, dude.
I'm going off track with what I'm trying to talk about, but Travis brought up the volatility question, and it is related to that to a certain extent because YouTube don't want to be blamed for whatever happens next if there's like another big political upset.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right? So they're just trying to like it's PR. You're playing the field. They're trying to like please everybody without they can't just like go onto YouTube tomorrow and get rid of like Ben Shapiro's show or what's another super provocative right guy, Steven Crowder. They can't just like get rid of his show right off the jump because he has so much influence, but they can get rid of a crazy person like Alex Jones, right? Because he's going around and just saying objectively like just batshit statements, right? And that's
Yeah, that
misleading
man
info.
Needs
We
help.
can't, like you can't just like go onto YouTube and just say like objectively misleading crap, right? And expect to keep your platform. So a lot of people, when they come up to me and they want to talk to me about, oh, are you getting like your ads pulled? The only thing that's really going to get you to have your ads pulled is to produce content that violates YouTube's terms of service. And YouTube's terms of service are basically like, don't put up anything that you'd see on Live Leak.
Fair enough.
Maybe don't talk about like really controversial issues like the war in Syria.
I agree with that.
Right? Don't like just use your brain. Just play the room a little bit. If you can't, if it's gonna be awkward, like if you bring it up in a public space, like if you go into a restaurant and you just like hold up a megaphone and say it, and then it's gonna get everybody in the room kind of weirded out. Maybe don't post that on YouTube. Or if you're gonna post that, just don't get mad if your stuff gets demonetized.
I'd be interested to hear what everybody has to say about this, including you, Greg. Is there a place for edgy content on YouTube, like old style?
It's becoming less and less.
YouTube poops.
Those are still around. But
I know. I'm so glad for that.
Yeah, it's becoming less
They
and
age
less.
like fine wine.
Yeah, all the like middle school era YouTube stuff, right?
There's gonna have to be a place
Laser
for it.
collections. We need.
There's always going to be a
those.
place for it.
There's always gonna be
it's the
people that are
internet.
making that
is
content.
YouTube there
But there's
for
like
it,
what
though?
I think this is an analogy I make a lot, where it's like you have like the internet used to be the Wild West when it first started out, and everybody could do whatever the hell they wanted, right? It didn't matter what political leanings. I told myself I wasn't going to get into freaking politics when I started this, and I was like, anyway.
It's gonna happen.
But it answers the question, right? So it's like it doesn't matter where you're from, what you believed in. Anybody could go out and they could buy a domain and put content up on it and buy advertising space. Now it's like we're starting to see a bit more of a stratification of the internet, where I think you have like it almost reflects like society itself, right? You have Upper Manhattan, that's like Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. You have like middle class suburban area outside in New York. That's probably going to be more like your independent like blog spaces, your food blogs,
iFunny.
stuff like that. Yeah, iFunny, stuff like that.
Hell yeah, represent.
4chan, Queens, the really bad part of it. Like, don't
Bad
go
part,
there. Part of it, yeah,
Deep iFunny.
yeah, like
Deep iFunny.
yeah,
34 iFunny.
hole.
There you go.
Just don't even.
There you
The
go.
Sewer. That's where it is. Just the sewers.
But like, I think I'm thinking more of like a Howard Stern type thing, because it gets to the point where it's like, yeah, that content is fucked up, and rightfully so that some advertisers don't want to put their name in front of that. But
Then don't.
you would think that there would be some advertisers that would be interested in that market of people who think that kind of thing is funny. Howard Stern
But,
has
like,
obviously
I think-
evolved into something more PC for sure, and he's gone to just doing interviews.
I think everybody has a little bit. I think people are concerned about whether or not they're not necessarily going to get canceled, right? Because I don't think that cancel culture is really like, I don't think the cancel culture argument really crops up until somebody does some really stupid crap, right? Like, who was the guy who
Oh, that shot is a G Fuel.
that was dumb. Yeah, that was a
We
big
showed
one.
that guy last
Let's
episode.
go,
that
let's
was
go,
big.
Sore Carl.
That was amazing.
How about,
that was an oopsie. But
How
there
about
was
Keemstar?
you can't-
Alex.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Who's the guy who played Kramer in Seinfeld?
Oh yeah. Oh
You know
man.
the rant that he had a
Yeah.
while back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And it's like little things like that go viral, and then it's
Mel
like,
Gibson did a lot
Well,
of.
yeah, Mel Gibson.
Supposed to
Yeah.
give me a
Perfect
blowjob
example.
before the jacuzzi.
Exactly.
He said a lot of like anti-Semitic stuff.
I think that the thing is, there are invisible rules for a lot of this stuff. It's like, don't say this word, don't condone this thing, but it doesn't necessarily. This is why it's become such a hot button issue. It doesn't necessarily get written, outlined in the TOS of a particular company and how they run their company. Twitch has an issue with this, where it's like, it's like court cases. like in when you research court cases when you were in high school for American history class, you would go through a whole bunch of different court cases and you would have certain precedents set, even though it wasn't necessarily outlined like in
It's
in
not
the rule
law.
of law. Yeah, it wasn't written like dot for dot. But because there was a guy who said this word on air and he got banned. Well, now we all, it's like, kind of a hive mind sort of thing. Like we all sort of try to figure out, okay, this guy got banned for saying that word. So don't say that word, even though it doesn't necessarily say like, there's no list of like bannable words, right?
Yeah.
I wish there was, because that would make my job a lot easier, right? But all they, and they've gotten a little more transparent about it. And that's all that YouTubers have really been asking for.
Yeah.
Now we've gotten to a point after like, and it took a while, but now we're finally at a point where they have a list of guidelines that for like, here's stuff that's ad friendly. Here's stuff that's not ad friendly. If you do this kind of behavior, we can put some ads on it, but we can't guarantee we're going to put a lot of ads on it. The middle ground with that's kind of iffy is like swearing. Like I cuss a lot. That's just how. That's my dictionary.
We do a few cussing. Only when it gets heated. Only when it gets
Why
heated.
the fuck do you make videos if you can't fucking cuss, man?
Whoa.
My dad was Navy, and my grandpa was in the Navy too. So the whole cuss swearing like a sailor thing like isn't a joke.
Ever since middle school
That's
came
real.
around, I just never stopped.
Yeah. I didn't adjust, but that's something I have to be like a little bit more careful with now. That's really the only thing that I have to like take into consideration with my YouTube videos. And there's something that a lot of people do where they have like a zero tolerance policy for themselves just to make sure like I'm good, like I'm not going to get flagged for this. YouTube doesn't outright say like you can't say fuck or shit in your video. You can say fuck or shit in your video and still make just as much money on it as you were in the original video, as far as I know, right?
But like at the same time though, don't you think the internet has like its own not council, but like general council of everybody? Like if somebody messes up, for example, like Logan Paul during the whole Japan thing, the whole internet is going to rebel against them. And I think that was something that we relied on many of times.
When he said the gamer word, I mean, like that was such a big issue for months.
I mean, people still make a big deal out of it. I feel like his reputation is still suffering the hit.
Well, rightfully so. You're not allowed to say that.
Well, he's on
like,
a break right now, isn't he?
There are people.
He just came back.
He was like for a month.
Oh, okay.
But
and I know there are people that are like, I can't believe you watched this dude because he did Thing on Date. What was another thing? John Tron had a oopsie. He was on an interview with Destiny, the StarCraft player, and he said a whole bunch of questionable things in that interview. Probably not 100 million IQ kind of statements to make on a public platform. Yeah. And he got his voice lines cut from a game that he was working on for that.
Wow.
So I think that like more like it's become a business thing for a lot of people at this point. It's not necessarily about like, and this is something that I'd like tell my my buddies that I play Rainbow Six with all the time whenever we're playing games. It's just like it's nothing personal. It's just a business thing. Like I hope I always make sure like whenever I start up my stream, I'm like, okay, are we saying like oopsies? I'm streaming. No oopsies. Don't say oopsies, Good.
I also have to remind my friends.
I've notified everybody, like
making us sound like a bunch of racists.
I have a question though.
It's like it's become a like
it's become so embedded in culture that you have to remind everybody.
Yeah. And
does that make it
when we were the age that first discovered cussing?
Oh my gosh, middle schoolers just
popped
said
that word off.
Xbox 360 was the peak of our existence.
Yeah.
Just Modern Warfare 2 times, man.
Trash talking.
You didn't know. Yeah.
Will, you had a question?
I was going to say, does this make it like more difficult, or is it easier to do it with YouTube or Twitch? Because I know you do Twitch as well. Is it easier to do stuff on Twitch than it is on YouTube, or does it make it harder?
Twitch is pretty strict themselves.
Twitch is pretty strict. I think YouTube is perhaps a little bit more lax. I've had videos that I've had like swear words in the title that have like stayed monetized. I've had some videos that had swear words in the title that did not get monetized. It depends on whatever rule YouTube wants to go by. And YouTube, I think recently, like YouTube gets a lot of flack for not being transparent with their creators, which they rightfully have for a number of reasons.
Yep.
For different cases, not particularly related to what we're talking about now. But Twitch is like, it's like I was making with the history book analogy. It's like Twitch's whole thing is like, if we make an example of like all of these people, then like people will figure it out. You know, like the beatings will continue until morale.
The problem,
improves.
though, is Twitch is not consistent with them setting precedents.
And they're not.
It's they'll ban a e-girl for barely showing a nipple, and I mean I'm being hyperbolic, but we've got a girl that literally abuses animals, throws a cat over her shoulder, and nothing happens to her.
Yeah,
it's
double standard.
So like I don't want, because I ideologically, and we were going back to politics, I don't agree with the government having to say, okay, you're a private company, you host a bunch of different ideas on one big server where people can absorb those ideas. You need to adhere to your own rules, and you need to set precedents and create rules based off of what is good and what is bad. I don't think that should happen.
I don't think that's the solution either.
But it's just inconsistent throughout all of the platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. It's bonkers, and I don't have the solution. I really don't. But there's got to be something better.
All you have to do with any word in the world you say, all it has to do is hurt one person's feelings. That
all of your
really vocal about it.
Super edgelord. So all of your super edgelord types think they have the final solution, and that's just like anarchy. Anyone can say whatever the hell they want, and it's fine. And I don't necessarily agree with that. I believe
it's
in free
not good for
speech.
business.
Yeah, but at the same time, like I have to be considerate of what there's not on YouTube, especially like you can have a YouTube channel like Rainbow Six Siege is a pretty good example of what I'm talking about, and I'm actually kind of talking about it in the video I'm making now. Rainbow Six Siege is a game that has a very wide appeal. It has a lot of like your conservative kind of gun nerd types. It has a lot more urban, liberal sorts of city folk. Right? It's a very mixed group of people. Demographically speaking, it has all sorts of types of people in it because it's a very good game from an esports marketing perspective. Is something that they've been very smart to establish after the game was out for like a year.
Yeah, the game's old and it's still very popular.
But for a game like Insurgency Sandstorm or a game like Arma 3, which is more like a military sim kind of game, or even Call of Duty. I mean, even Modern Warfare. Like Modern Warfare is often I often see that game done adjacent to like I'll go to like a Twitch stream for COD, and there's like a U.S. Army ad, or I load up COD and it's a bunch of dudes with like MAGA and Trump clan tags, right? Just as far as you can see, the leaderboard is just like filled with that.
Yeah.
So it's like you can if you have like a brain, you can figure out like, okay, this is, a major demographic. This is like a major, when you're talking about like PR and advertising, personas of your audience is something that we talked about when I was taking classes, and we had an experiment where we would like look at like a photo of somebody. You might remember this, Ollie, Brandon. We had like the characters, and we would have like a photo of somebody and be like, okay, this person buys like these kinds of products and they're into these kinds of TV shows. And it's just human psychology. Like we're trying to make sure that we're not alienating like everybody with some obviously off kilter remarks about something, but we're also not trying to like police our language to the point where like we can't do anything creative, because like my stuff is comedic, right? Like I try to
for sure,
be funny. That's like my whole thing. I have
That's
a
your
lot of different
spiel.
jokes. And sometimes I'll write a joke and it sounds like hilarious in my head, and then I'll put it out there, and then someone will be like, "I can't believe you made that joke," and I'll be like, I don't know what to tell you, man, because it's like it doesn't, because it's like, one, it does, like, did I get banned? Does it violate TOS? Like, are my ads getting pulled? Like, I don't know what to say. Like, I don't know what to tell you on that. It's like, you can either watch the content and like it, or if you don't like it, you can dislike it. Go ahead and dislike it anyway, because that still gives me something in the algorithm, because YouTube doesn't distinguish between whether or not it's a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
Interaction.
Wow.
It just looks at that as engagement. So
any press is good press, right?
Go ahead. Yeah. Like, I'm not.
The worst thing you can be is apathetic, and if you give me any type of reaction, then I win. I kind of we kind of have to move on. So yeah. I think
if any point I'm talking for like 5 hours, just let me know.
I'll let you know. So, and final, unless any of the other guys had any really huge questions, have you gone through any controversy with your YouTube channel at all? Have you had a lot of people mad at you at any point?
I did a Raid Shadow Legend sponsor. No! I got a lot of people.
You son of a bitch!
I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that you said that.
Really mad, like so much more mad than I thought.
Dude, I'm really
like
mad.
A sellout or something like that
right now.
I mean, like, I always thought that it was established, like, because I think I do a pretty good job of like implying to my audience, like, hey, like, I was doing this in college and I took really good notes, and then it blew up, and I was like, all right. I mean, I'm not gonna like quit, you know, because that would be stupid, right?
Did you come on the camera and go, "Let's play Raid"?
It's like it's like a business, right? So I tried to make it like as self-aware as possible. Like, I had a cutaway into the bit where I was every time I do an operator how-to, I go like, operator's gadget is blank, like, and I give the funny name for the gadget. And instead this time I was like, operator's gadget is Raid Shadow Legends, and then just cut straight to it right away with no transition, just like tried to make it like abrupt as possible. And then I had a bit where I was confronted by a fan who was really upset that I did this ad, and they were like, are you seriously about to do this? And I was like, yes. And then I went into the ad anyway, and then it's like, people still got
fuck
really
that mindset. You make that money, baby. You make that fucking ad revenue. Fuck those people.
That sounds hilarious.
I tried to make the ad funny. Like, I spent more time. I made, like, a lot of people were like, I can't believe this ad was 1 minute and 30 seconds long, and they'll say it was like, and you know how people get hyperbolic on the internet. They'll be like, I can't believe this ad was like 3 minutes long. You know, saying like an oddly specific number that's just not true, right? But it sounds better, so they say it. And
I can't believe that the UFC is sponsored by Boost Mobile. Suck a dick. People need to make a living somehow.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous.
Sponsored Boost Mobile, and I was very happy about that.
And here's the best part.
Let's fucking go.
Because from my perspective, right? Like, I get ads all the time. Whenever, like, my parents still pay for cable, and they complain about the commercials every time they watch the TV. And it's like, you're paying for internet, and then you have an ad, and you're like, oh, I don't want to watch the ad. So then you use this device. It's called a mouse, and it has a little thing here that you use it to interact with objects on your screen. And you can go to the playhead on the video and then go. How much?
Not only that, you can literally, you're giving me more money by commenting about how pissed you are.
Exactly. It's like, dude, you don't get it. I'm sorry.
Interaction.
And one dude, it's really weird. Like, and this is something I had to kind of get better at, because I have a decent following, right? Like 230K subs. I'm not gonna like humble brag or anything like that. Just, you know, try to tell it like it is.
Yep.
It's, in terms of YouTuber numbers, that's like middle class YouTube, right? It's not, you know, it's not amazing, but it's good, right? Like, it's solid. And the thing with a lot of bigger content creators is that they tend to have like thicker skin, and they get a lot more acclimated to this kind of stuff because it's just a constant feedback loop. And when the channel was first starting out, I got into the habit of like interacting with people in the comments section, because that's engagement, right? That's good press. That's good PR. So when I'm going for the comment section, like, and a lot of people made it like super personal. They were like, I can't believe that you would do an ad on you would ever do sponsored content. If you ever have to do sponsored content, and I'm not exaggerating, I'm to sound, to back up my argument or anything. Like, this was a real comment that I got. Somebody said that if I ever have to do sponsored content, then I need to stop making YouTube videos. And I was just like, what? Like, comments like that I read were people is just like, oh, just ignore him, dude. It's whatever. It's like, no, you're saying that to me, man. Like, that's directed at me. I'm gonna say something back to that. It's not like a one-way street. You're not just like saying, like, I'm obviously not gonna, like, if somebody came up to me at a bar and said that, I'm not gonna like punch him in the face.
Yeah.
But, if somebody comes up to me at the bar and they
react in a way.
If they like recognize me and they say like, hey, you shouldn't do that, I'll be like, piss off, man. Like, it's really weird. It's really weird how people think that, like, just because it's like on the internet, it's like the human interaction element is like different. But it's still communicative.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
It's still, you're still like communicating intent with somebody there. So a lot of people, when people, like, it's one thing if people go like, hey man, I don't know if this is a good fit for your channel because blah blah blah, and I'm disappointed for these reasons. And I'll go, okay, I get it.
There's a difference between constructive criticism and just being a straight out dick.
Yeah, if you're gonna be a dick, like, I'm gonna be a dick. Yeah. That's just how it is. That's just how I roll, man. Obviously, there's a certain point where it's like, okay, this dude's like smoking crack. I'm not gonna like participate in that. But,
fair enough.
That was the only super controversial thing I had on YouTube, and I make it. I'd spent a million years talking about it. Most people were chill about it. It was an element. It was like a group that was like large enough to get really, really pissed. That drove the traffic down on that video. Because of that, because the engagement wasn't there, because they got to the raid part and they were like, I'm not watching the whole video. Fuck scrubbing through the video and getting the part that I want to watch. I'm just not gonna watch any of it, which to me is just weird. But
let's play raid.
Let's play Raid Shadow Legends. Shadow Legends
in the chat.
Mama's online RPG.
We've got some new part of internet history that is being created right now.
What?
So I'm sure you guys are aware of the OK Boomer girl. So I've got the first everybody view the.
Oh no!
Yeah.
I'm showing this to the audience now.
Wait, which video is it? The first link?
The first one.
It's the one where she's
I can't play the audio, but she's wearing the Bernie 2020 shirt.
Yeah.
She's a very cute girl, to be fair.
I had a couple of friends. I had a couple of friends watch that video that are like super conservative, and they were like, "Okay, maybe Bernie's not that bad."
Are we starting from zero?
All right, no, just play it. Just play it. You don't need to know any context. We'll play the next video together.
The first one, the best of OK Boomer girl.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So we've got the OK Boomer girl. She has a
TikTok and she just does this stuff like frequently.
I know. I've seen a little bit about this too. Her popularity is like spiked and then dropped a lot and then spiked.
So okay, go to the second video, and then that's where we're gonna start at 0.
I know exactly what this is about.
Let me know when everybody's there, and then we can do a 3, 2, 1.
Okay, I'm there.
I'm here.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, play.
But when someone is talking about guys simping for a girl, I just don't understand what's wrong with like worshiping a girl.
Oh my God. I already have so many problems with this. Oh my God.
Please simp for me. Please simp for me.
Oh no.
Okay.
Stop.
But girls should be worshipped.
I'm not saying it's for me.
All right.
Oh, dude, the chat is the worst part.
I am simping for you, smiley face.
Simping isn't bad. Simping is
horrible.
Okay? You're a king if you're not afraid to simp.
Whatever you say.
Oh God.
Okay, I'm pausing that there.
Did she just say simping is okay?
She said it was good.
King shit.
King shit, dog.
She said it was good. She was like, girls deserve to be worshipped.
Shit, not king shit.
Girl. I have so many problems.
Dog, so, number one, if you're a fucking simp, what are you fucking doing? You degenerate
what does
piece
this
of
stand
shit.
for again?
Worship a girl who worships you.
Hold on. You piece of fucking shit. You goddamn what you need to do, okay? You need to find a girl that fucking respects you and stop literally slaving over your crush of your dreams. You goddamn degenerate.
I mean,
Worship a
I
girl
did,
who
and
worships
kinda
you,
worked
man. It all
out
comes
for
down to that.
me.
Listen,
Give and
man.
take, my good sir.
I think simp is just like an evolution of the term cuck that everyone was throwing around.
It really is.
Everyone was saying cuck, and it was like funny because it's like cuck. Like this always happens on the internet where like people like find a word that's like funny, and then everyone starts saying it.
They're just like
And
funny
then-
sounding
And then
words,
there's another
too.
group of people that are like, that's not funny, and then they're like, oh,
Boomer's kind of funny. I like Boomer.
okay.
It's
So they
free.
can, and then we have simp.
It's free
I love
Shavakadu.
simp. Simp grew up.
Free Shavakadu.
It's free Shavakadu.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
dude.
girl got on my bad side so quick.
I like to do a little bit of relationship advice on this show, and I gotta tell anybody that sees or is in this predicament where you are giving a girl so much of your time, and she for the
isn't
purpose of
giving you the
having
light of
sex, she's not gonna fuck you, dude. I'm telling you, I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. She's not gonna fuck you. What you need to
You
do
or someone
is
you
find
know.
somebody that respects you back.
This happens all the time in my Twitch chat. I'll get people like coming in my Twitch chat, like asking me for advice, and they'll like describe the situation, and it's never something as simple
Okay,
as
Sim.
like, yeah, it's never as something as simple as just like, oh, you know, she's in this class, but I don't know how to like talk to her or whatever, and then I can go.
It's like
well,
the most
you know,
complicated shit ever.
it's like, okay, just try talking to her, and then it's like, because that's good advice to, I think.
Yeah,
it's
just
always
talk to
it's
somebody.
always something, it's always some kind of scenario where it's like, well, she's 5'5" and she did 5 backflips at 3 o'clock on a Sunday outside of my house, and then it's like they go through this whole paragraph, right? They write a book, and at the end they go, but she has a boyfriend, and I'm just like, stop.
Then you respect.
I do this on
Do
like
you?
I'll do this on camera, and people think I'm like weird, and they're just like, damn, bro, that's harsh. It's like, no, it's not. It's just right. It's just true. You can't
All right.
like.
So
hung up
here's
on
the thing
other
about
things.
girlfriend
Here's the
stealing.
thing.
Here on the show, we
Here
call it
is the thing.
GFSing.
Like you can't
Here
get
is the
hung up in
thing.
that situation.
Here is
Yeah.
the thing.
Okay, well, what is the
All
thing?
Men are kings. All men are kings. But we need to find our queens. That's it. You need to find someone that, like Brandon said, respects you as much as you respect them. What simps do is that they find someone that they show the slightest bit of interest in them, and then they automatically think, she wants to fuck me. She wants to date me. She wants to do all this. No, it's called being nice. There is a difference between flirt and being interested in somebody and just being a genuinely good person. And you have to be able to spot these differences. And so you just have to find someone that you're
Talk to
interested in,
girls.
give
Talk
it
to
a
girls.
shot. If they don't give you that respect back or initiate anything back, I'm sorry. Don't push it further and become a simp. Don't.
Interact with women in a way that's not flirtatious sometimes. I know that might sound crazy to some simps. Yeah, I know.
What?
Because the way that you can
Females?
because the way that you can tell that a girl is like into you is if you've interacted with girls outside of an environment of like trying to get with them. Whoa.
It's usually
Whoa!
that
Wait,
like
wait,
it's
Yeah.
usually that
Greg's
like you're
saying
friends with
be
them
friends.
first.
Yes. You can be friends with a woman without wanting to have sex with them.
Right, but it's usually you
No,
become
no
friends with them
way.
first, and then you or the female starts to gain feelings, and then that's usually how it clicks.
And the
'Cause
best
you know-
case
'cause you get to
scenario-
know them first.
Best case scenario,
Exactly.
if you have
Yeah.
a friend that's a girl, she's gonna be your best wingman because she knows
That's
how
true
dope you
also.
are. She's just not into you.
Facts. Facts.
True. Like you'll still find some girls every now and then, like, all right, you've never met before.
But I
the
do
best
agree
amount
with
of
Oliver,
date,
too.
But
I do agree with Oliver.
yeah, you'll find some girls that are like, yes, ask me out on a date if you don't know them. Like they'll say yes, but some girls are like, nah, like I don't know you. That's why it's nice to be friends with them
It
first. And then
depends.
you,
Like
get a
hookup culture
concept.
has made it so weird.
That's true.
Like especially
Not even hookup
in,
culture,
especially
just,
in
like,
college. Like
online
I've literally like met girls like on the same day, and then it's just like, huh?
There are still like, but then there are
and
also
it's
like
like-
still people that don't participate in the hookup culture at all, and it's like
Yeah.
you never know.
It depends on the
It
person.
depends on the person.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it depends on the person. Some
And
people
the
are
only
like,
way you're gonna get to know the person is if you talk to them.
Some people want to try
That's
the
it.
milk day one. Some people want to buy the cow, raise it a little bit, and then try the milk.
Yeah.
you know, like some people are gonna
And
want
then
that
sell it.
full on romance, like right off the bat. But like some people, it just depends on the person.
The cow to market.
Depends on
then-
the person. So
And then you don't answer the cow's texts for weeks and
And
weeks,
then-
and then you like throw her a
Just
little
go-
hook
that's
out
called-
there and
that's
take it
called
back.
ghosting.
And that
Yeah.
cow calls
That
you
is called
a dickhead
Are
for
you
not responding
comparing
to her.
women to livestock? I can't believe I've been associated with this program.
that is called ghosting when you don't talk to them for a while.
Thank you.
Thank you, Oliver.
But regarding simps, though, I feel like that all comes down to like the entitlement thing. That's where that other word, incels. I've been using that
Yeah, I
word a
feel like
lot
they're
too.
entitled to
I feel like they're the same kind of thing. They paid a girl a compliment, or they like held a door or some shit, and they think they're entitled to sex from her. Or
I held
entitled
this
to
door open for you.
My
Suck
lady.
my dick.
It's like
Or
it
you
happens
just
on
be
Twitch
lady.
too. Like you donate to the girl showing her cleavage, and you think you're entitled to like be her boyfriend.
Dude,
because
But
she puts
she,
weird, man.
this
posts money
specific
on her
girl,
channel.
thrives on that shit because there are so many motherfuckers out there that'll pay for bath water.
Bath
You
water.
remember that shit? Like,
Belle
it's
Delphine.
insane. Dude, I've thrown money at Ninja when I was really into his streams back in the day. It was like $10. I'm not throwing $100 at some girl. I don't even do that for my own girlfriend. Like,
yeah, that reminds me of my old roommate. He literally said he would drink Beyonce's bathwater.
all right, that's different. It's Beyonce. Like, I would.
Yeah,
I
Would you
snort-
drink her bathwater?
I would
Dude, it's
snort
Queen
her
Bee.
armpit hair if you crush it up farther enough. Like,
I don't
I would
know,
let her
man.
spit in my general direction.
Okay, that all right.
I would let her
I'm
hock a
grossed
loogie
out.
into my eyeball, dude.
All right, I'm grossed out. That's
we
enough.
are the problem.
I would simp for you, Beyonce. I'm just letting
We're
you
the
know.
problem.
Yeah. Honestly, that's apart from the whole argument. We all simp for Beyonce.
Oh gosh, you guys are disgusting. Have some morals.
Who says we don't have morals? It's Beyonce. You tell me you don't want $1 billion of like
I don't-
spit just sitting in you,
Guess what? It's not $1 billion. It's spit. Everybody's got spit.
but it's spit from a billionaire.
Okay.
What are you saying? You gonna sell it on eBay?
Yeah. Like, well, like, what am I gonna do?
Maybe.
Make
You
money off
might.
of it?
You probably
Like-
could.
How much do you think Beyonce could get for some of her spit?
How much do you think
A
Beyonce
lot.
could give for some of her?
I think it's
like,
literally
bath
not
water?
worth her time to sell
A
her own
lot.
spit.
All right. Her
It's gotta be a couple
bathwater probably
thousand.
like 500.
At least.
I was gonna say 500.
No,
It's literally not
More?
worth her time to sell
$5 grand
her
probably.
$5,000.
because she makes so much probably per minute.
You know, everybody's bathwater pretty much smells the same.
She
don't
probably
know.
makes
Depends on the
at
product.
least
Humans
$100
have
off.
like different odors too. That's the thing.
It
They have,
depends
like,
on the
their
product
own
they're
scent.
using, but
all the
look-
single ladies would be hopping on that.
all the single ladies.
Out of
All
the
the
most
single
popular celebrities, who do you think would smell the worst?
Post Malone.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I bet on that.
Let's not
There's
make
like-
it obvious, though. Let's not make it obvious. Let's think of like
Yeah, I
someone
mean,
who
that's
like,
like-
you
that's the-
wouldn't
that's
expect.
natural.
Jim
number one.
Carrey.
Who you, like,
Carrey.
I can see it.
who
I
would
can
you
see it.
not expect? Who would you not expect though to
I
smell
feel like
bad?
Will Ferrell. would have that.
Margaret
I feel like
Will
Robbie,
Ferrell
I would
probably
not
smells
expect.
rank.
Margaret
I feel like
Robbie,
Will
if she
Ferrell.
smelled terrible, I'd be pissed. Margot Robbie or whatever her name is.
I feel like she would be the kind of girl to not wear deodorant.
What about Megan Fox?
I mean,
You
that
think
sounds like
she
Miley
smells
Cyrus, but with
sweet?
extra steps.
Lindsay
Brie
Lohan
Larson.
for sure probably just smells like cigarettes and booze.
I bet Brie Larson probably doesn't.
Brie Larson.
Ooh.
What
that's
about the
lady
girl that plays,
Brie Larson's probably like one of those all natural kind of types.
Oh,
Yeah.
What about the girl that plays
It's my
Katniss
natural
Everdeen?
body scent.
Jennifer Lawrence. What about Jennifer
I feel like
Lawrence?
she smells
Don't
good.
you fucking talk shit on my wife.
Yeah, she didn't
Jennifer
smell good when she
Lawrence?
was in the Hunger Games living in the woods, but she probably smells good on the regular.
I bet
Or the
Emma
girl
Stone,
that plays
I bet Emma
Daenerys?
Stone smells perfect.
Or the
I
girl that
bet,
plays
um,
Daenerys?
I
in
bet
Game of
Emma
Thrones?
Watson doesn't smell nice.
Who's your
I don't
guys'
know
number
why.
one actress?
Like crush or just
Actress?
actress?
I just said it.
Emma,
Like-
that's a
who do we-
really good one.
Yeah.
Who do we
Are you
think the
talking
best
like-
actress is?
Are you talking about actress or looks?
No, like who
Or
do you have a crush
celebrity.
on? Who do you
Oh,
have a crush
celebrity
on?
crush. Oh, I already got it.
Jessica Alba.
Got a huge crush on Emma Stone.
Oh my
Jessica Alba.
Travis, my
Dude.
childhood crush.
Invisible Woman.
Oh, dude, she is
Sin
toast.
City.
I used to have a huge crush on Hillary
She's
Duff when I was like
toasty.
a kid.
Hillary Duff. Do you
I
know
was
who I
like-
had a huge crush on?
When I was a wee
Fucking
lad.
iCarly, dude. Miranda
Oh my
Cosgrove.
God.
I was more of a see, look. You were either a
Michael
Miranda
Jackson
Cosgrove guy or
herself.
you were a Jeanette McCurdy guy. I was a Jeanette McCurdy
Ooh.
guy.
I'll go with Jeanette
I
McCurdy.
get, yeah,
Jeanette
Travis and I
McCurdy.
are on the same wavelength there.
I'd
Always a
go.
sucker for
This
blonde.
is
He
a
has
curveball.
very well.
I'm going young Reese Witherspoon.
Reese without her spoon.
I was
Reese
gonna say the
Witherspoon.
exact same thing.
Young Reese Witherspoon is fire, bro.
Hold on, I'm gonna Google search young Reese with yep.
Witherspoon. She's.
Photos.
What about
I would probably
Who's
simp
the
Jessica
who's
Chastain.
the girl that you guys ever watched the movie Devil Wears Prada? No.
Yes.
A long time.
Who's the actress? What's her name?
The
main
Her
actress.
name.
I don't know.
I know
Look
who
it
you're
up.
talking about, but yes, I'll go with that. Yes.
Like the old bitch?
No, the
Anne
oh,
Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway. Yeah.
Anne Hathaway, bro.
Also Catwoman.
She's not bad looking either.
I don't know. I'm not usually into like the leather tights thing, but she makes it work.
Jessica Alba wore it in Sin City, and she fucking killed it,
Sin City movies are
Queens.
always so weird, bro.
Queens.
They're wild.
dude. She was a goddess in that movie.
Oh, who was the girl in the first season of House of Cards?
Brandon should know this.
Oh, the redhead? I don't know
Yeah.
her name.
It's me. It's redheads, dude. It's just redheads get me.
dude,
You got
redhead.
gingivitis.
Not all. There's
Yeah.
no. I feel like
Redheads and Asian girls. It's like that's where I'm like.
That's where you go to. It's your home.
I feel like redheads are either like, and this is going to be very superficial, so I apologize ahead of time. They're either super hot or they're just not at all.
Really fucking ugly. There's
Was
no.
that Family Guy bit about Russian women? Where it's like, whoa,
You either get Olga or you get
Yeah.
like the hottest thing you've ever seen in your life.
Dasha.
I used to live in
Svetlana.
Ocean City, and then like during the summer, we would just see an insane amount of hot Eastern European women would just pull up to work for Dunkin' Donuts, for Thrasher's
It's the
Fries.
accent too. It's like you see them and you're like, oh, okay, and then you hear him talk, and then you're like,
And a lot of them like think American accents are hot, so you can just be like, "Hey there."
You
Yeah.
sound like a stereotypical white guy. Hey there, how you doing?
Hey, my name's
Hey, how
Forrest.
are ya?
Forrest Gump.
that's how dudes be getting girls nowadays. it
Hey,
seems
don't make
like,
fun of
at
Forrest
parties
Gump. He just
anymore.
got coronavirus.
I don't know. I don't know.
Sure.
I don't even know what the formula is. At like some of these, like, because I just stopped going to house parties anymore. It's like dudes just like go up to a girl and they're just like, "Hey," and that's it. That's it. That's all they did.
You gotta
And
pull the
you're
G
just
easy. You gotta like just 2 fingers. Come here.
like, what, yeah, it's just
Come
like,
here.
what the hell?
That was an image I did not want to see.
This joke I keep making now is just like with college girls. It's like it's either dudes that can bench 50 pounds or 500
zero.
pounds.
Oh,
There's no in
okay.
between. There's no in between. It's like they're like
I
super,
do like.
super skinny or just like
I can't do
giant,
either.
dude. Like
I love the skinny nerd renaissance of the past few years. I feel like we're killing the game again.
that's great. You know,
Are you
for
considered
me,
in that?
it's
You're
like-
I don't know if we
yourself
ever
in
were
that
before,
category?
but I feel like we are now.
It's like I work out, but I'm not like Steph who can bench
No, you're not like a beefcake.
squat like
you're
a
like
million
toned,
pounds.
man. You're toned.
Yeah, that doesn't do anything for me. So
I think
screwed.
so
it does everything for you. You've got the glasses. You've got the nerdiness. You've got
He's
the
got the
skinny.
flow.
We're
He's
talking.
got the
We're just
flow.
talking specifically college parties. I don't go to those anymore.
I sent you guys a
the
Giazo
bar?
link.
At the bar, it's like fine.
So we finally got it. We're here, dude. We made it to coronavirus.
Man. All right.
So I have a tweet here just so the boys, I'm not going to show it because it'll dox the person. I accidentally showed it earlier, but I'll blur it.
Nice.
To all the dumbasses going on spring break thinking that you're invincible, going to bars with your little LOL, we're so dumb captions. Thank you. Thank you from the people that canceled our trips to keep everyone around us healthy. From the smart people smart enough to stay home in the middle of a pandemic. And all caps. Thank you for putting us all at risk. Thank you for being careless and bringing the virus to the elderly and children. Thank you for canceling our schools and switching college classes online. You know, the classes that I have to pay for that I get to go to in person. Thank you for the canceled proms and graduations, for the ruined year and brokenhearted people. Thank you for being so careless, heartless, and selfish. Because those of us that care, we won't forget your coronavirus who captions and your COVID-19 jokes. Fuck all of you.
Damn.
How do you guys feel about that mentality?
What that the person's mentality?
Yeah.
But
So I
I'm
just
gonna
want to
come
say,
right
in
out.
case this gets back to her, because it probably will, I respect you and I think you're a great person. I just disagree with you slightly.
yeah,
social
simple.
I
simple
get
disagreement.
the-
No one has to hate anybody.
And
It's
you
just-
bring up an interesting conversation. You
I-
really
I-
do.
I get it. I also can't like get at that topic because I ended up going out Saturday thinking that okay, you know, this is like gonna be like the last opportunity we have to do this before all the shit gets like fucked.
yeah, we went
Yeah.
out
And I was-
Friday night.
and
I feel like
And I was thinking to myself, I was like, okay, if everybody is like on the same page here, you know, not a lot of people are gonna come out. And then I think everyone had that same idea, and then that invited more people to come out, which is really bad timing for that sort of thing to take place, right? So it happened, and as far as I know, I'm still good. Watch me wake up tomorrow not feeling so good.
yeah, could not show up for 2 weeks, man. Be careful. Careful what you say.
Bullshit.
I think the place that I
uh,
stand on this is, I mean, I think Brandon can attest to like the one point I'm gonna make now is that, like I've busted my ass at school for however many years, and the one thing that I looked forward to was walking at graduation, like being able to be
That's-
surrounded
that
by friends
stinks.
and family,
that stinks.
being
I get
able to
that.
be surrounded by friends and family and take the graduation photos, Brandon and Travis and
Yeah,
all
dude.
them.
That is some bullshit. That is some
I
I
bullshit.
just don't get that now
It
That's the
sucks,
part
but
that
it's like
sucks
because
about this
some
now.
dude in China ate a bat.
Yeah. That's the one
Systematically.
thing that's ticked me off about this the most. It's
Real
not
sensitive
the
guys
switching to
fact check on
online
that one.
classes. It's not
I don't think that's
having
why it
to
happened,
do
but-
all of this. It's just that I don't get to enjoy the luxury of being able to walk across stage in front of my friends and family and receive the diploma that I earned. I have to walk across my kitchen floor in my cap and gown and receive it from my mom.
We're gonna do a
because they
Minecraft
mailed
one.
it in. Oh God, no.
yeah, dude, I saw that. Looked fire.
5 million IQ.
Let's do a Warzone. Let's do a Call of Duty Warzone.
Dude, that game is fun,
Cluster
bro.
strike inbound.
I think
Yeah.
Enemy IC 130.
I think the issue is like at the end of the day it comes down to like an information thing, and the only way to like get information about this sort of thing is if the government gets involved. And I know that we like to get we all get iffy whenever
a little sniffly there, are you? That's what happens when you go out on Saturdays.
Getting sick.
Yeah.
Okay,
we
I heard a
we all get
conspiracy.
we all get a little iffy whenever the government like starts getting involved in our shit when they're like, okay, you can't do this, can't do that, right? And we're like, that's
Yeah.
my rights. But to a certain point, if you look at the models of other countries that have dealt with this issue more frequently than us, right? Like this is something that has taken place. We had SARS, as far as I know, because coronavirus is basically like another version of SARS.
Yeah,
we dealt with
SARS actually had a
SARS.
higher mortality rate.
Mm-hmm. But it supposedly originated from a lot of these like Chinese wet markets. So a lot of the countries adjacent to China, like in Southeast Asia, like Japan, Taiwan, South Korea, they all have experience like dealing with this sort of thing. So they took a lot of precautions like right out of the jump
It's
to
true.
contain it like as soon as they could. And like the United States, like we don't really have an excuse to like not have an idea of what's going on, right? Like we're one of the most influential countries in the world. I'm sure that everybody who was up at the top of the command chain in the US had all the information in the world to have a response that was similar, and that didn't really happen. Like here in West Virginia, we had the whole joke about how West Virginia
We took the
didn't
dub.
have any. It won the battle royale. It won the Corona Royale, because it didn't have any confirmed cases, but they weren't giving anybody tests.
Yeah.
And it's like,
There's a lot of misinformation. That's all it is. A bunch of misinformation.
I think to her
And
point
speaking
though,
amounts of
it's, well, so
mis-
before you
And
get into
that- and
the
that
before you get
sort
to
of-
that,
but that sort of thing is what makes people go out to bars when they shouldn't.
since
more
since
than-
I'm kind of calling her out, and
Yeah.
and I want to just add to the final point of hers, then we can get to the conspiracies. So I think that blaming everybody that went out on Saturday or grabbed a ticket to Puerto Rico or vacation during this time because the airlines were cheaper, I don't think that they're the problem. Listen, they might contribute to it, but what's happening right now was inevitable. There's nothing really that we could have done to a certain extent at this stage of how everything is going on that would have changed the outcome. Everything
Yeah,
was going to
virus
be,
that spreads gonna spread, dude.
and everything
It's
that's
like
shutting
trying to
down is going to shut down. It was inevitable. So
There was
throwing
a
your
guy on the
anger,
Joe Rogan show that said it's like trying to stop the wind. He's like a expert on pathogens.
you can't stop nature. It's just a
spreading,
thing.
yeah.
So you throwing your anger and being angry at other people is not productive. It's not the way to go. Yes, they're idiots for doing it, and they're just risking themselves and their families, and let that be on them. That's Darwinism. But at the same time, though, it's like, why are you getting upset at that when commencement? I'm graduating. That's going to be canceled because of this whole thing. But I'm not mad at those people. I'm just
No.
I'm just living this experience.
The only
You
group
can't
of
be
people
mad.
I'm
Bingo.
mad at are people that are like going around and just saying objectively fact-checked bogus and just being like, oh, it's just another flu. It's just it's whatever. Everyone's like freaking out. It's not a big deal. It's like, dude,
They're hurting the cause.
the country is in a state of emergency. And the Twitter clap emoji thing that makes it seem like I'm making a really good point, right? And then all
It's like if
caps.
you don't have something nice to say, don't say it at all. If you don't have something
It's
smart
in
to
a
say,
state
don't
of
say anything at all.
emergency. You can't just go around and be like, oh, it's whatever, it's fine. Why is everybody freaking out about it? All of us, the stock market crashing, that's been the worst since 2008. Why is the stock market crashing? Just go up, stock market. What? Dumb.
How's
Dummies.
cyberbullying even real? Just close your laptop.
Those idiots. Yeah, it's like, stop. Like, the world exists. I'm sorry. Things happen in the world that don't have, necessarily to do with you.
Sorry, Travis, to interrupt you on that.
You
On
read
your
about
point.
it on the internet, right? Like, but it can affect you, and that's the issue that we're facing right now, is that we don't have a vaccine for it, and it has a higher mortality rate in people who smoke, in people with diabetes or obese. The older you get, there's like a correlation curve there. So it's just being considerate.
It's inevitable. It's nature.
Well,
It's going to
consider it.
happen. But
Yeah, I
you just,
agree. I think
I'm not saying like fuck everybody who went on spring break last weekend, but maybe don't fucking go out this week. I don't know.
Yeah. The government had to get involved is because people are going to be idiots and like go around spreading it.
And it shouldn't be up to the people. Like, I understand that we have, if the whole argument that we have is like, we always talk about this on Twitter, how we're like, oh my gosh, the Darwinism award, people are so dumb, Thanos was right kind of meme, right? you can't go like here, you can't go like this way and be like, Darwinism, and then be like, oh well, we can't, let the government like get involved and like try to like contain this a little bit. You can't have both sides, right? Like, you gotta go, okay, like, I understand all the arguments of like the slippery slope where we have a nanny state kind of thing, but this is something that other responsible countries do. They just like, they see this happening and they're like, okay,
Let's get on top of this.
yeah, make sure we have test kits for people. People can come in and they can get a test. They don't necessarily have to have a hospitalization for it. That's something that's a problem in Japan right now. But Taiwan and South Korea have done a really good job of, doing as much as they can. The problem isn't keeping people in their house as much as it is making sure that, first of all, how are they aware if they have this disease? Produce test kits, make sure that they can take a test without having to pay for it. That's one. Like, there's infrastructure we can set up to like help people out. It's not communism, right? Like, it's just being responsible. It's just getting information out to the public. That's all. Just helping the public make informed
And
decisions.
the people that are going out on spring break or going out to the bars and putting up their witty captions are not the problem. They're contributing, but
it is a
The
symptom.
problem is the problem.
the
Like,
problem is the problem.
It's a symptom of the problem. That's
Dog,
the way I.
and
I
here
would
in a
say.
week, we're all going to be sit here on lockdown, mandatory lockdown here soon anyway.
Probably yeah.
It's more than likely
You know,
going
It's
to happen.
kind of crazy because like when the Super Bowl happened, was anyone talking about the coronavirus really? Like we
No.
didn't even like think twice about it.
Oh my gosh. The Invitational for Rainbow Six Siege in Montreal. Huge crowds of people. And guess what? Everybody was talking about how they got sick from Invitational when they got back on Twitter.
yeah, I've already self
It
quarantined myself.
it was in like early February, you know? So it's like and this has been going on since January in China. You know,
Actually, since December is when it started. December of 2019.
Damn,
Okay.
get fucked.
okay, that's why.
Damn. Fact
Got
check
it.
his ass.
Okay, but they didn't really
But-
know like all the ramifications.
I'm
and
saying
stuff
like where it peaked, like where it was
Yeah.
starting to become like, oh shit,
I see what you're saying,
this for
Oliver.
me. Like, this was
Yeah.
That's why it's
Some-
called COVID-19.
Some countries even like I think it was China where one of the Koreas said that like they're over their peak, so they think it's going to be
China is what that
start
was.
decreasing. I mean, all right. So I didn't really get to
I'm not trying to do the China model where we have drones. Sorry.
I was gonna say one.
My,
No, you're good.
my final piece.
No, you're
I'm
good.
not trying to do the China thing where we have drones yelling at people to go back inside. That's weird. But other than that, yeah. Go ahead, Oliver.
I think with this,
Brotherhood of Steel. No
I think with this person's,
alarmed.
I think with this person's tweet, we all get that like, yes, everything's being canceled, and yes, it's going to have ramifications for people having graduations and or class or school or sports or whatever it is. But it's a national thing, and there's no real way around it. So like, I get why
what it is.
I get why this person's mad.
It's an
that, like,
international thing.
yeah,
We're
playing
all-
on social
we're
media
all
is
stuck
not
in
the
this.
smartest move.
We're all stuck.
Yeah, the only person making you sit there and be mad is you.
We're all stuck with it inside our houses with each other over the internet.
Yeah. Sorry to put you on blast to this
Yeah.
person, but you just made an interesting point and it kind of got me riled up and I wanted to talk about it.
And if you ever feel angry, just sit down.
I
and watch The Real
understand
Sensitive Guys.
where they are coming from.
You'll be our next guest. If you want to come on, give
Yeah,
us some smoke
That'd be
next week.
fire. That'd be fire.
That's what we should do every single week is just talk shit to somebody and see if they'll get on.
Try to
See if
get,
they come in
try
next
to
week
get
and
more
rebuttal.
guests, try to drum some more guests by
Trying
just
to talk
ripping them
shit.
apart.
Discord can have up to 50 people now.
Wow.
Hey,
Fuck you, PewDiePie.
That's the
Yeah.
limit of people that should be gathered in a space by the CDC right now.
Well, this is not a
Symbolic.
space. This
Discord
is
Coincidence?
Discord is big brain.
cyberspace.
I think not.
cyber chase.
Travis, what was your conspiracy thing? And we can end it on that.
All right. So basically, what I heard on iFunny is
Oh god.
that,
Oh god. Good
great way-
preface.
that's a great
Good
way to
preface.
that they're going to impose this national quarantine, and it's actually a distraction to keep us all in our homes while they make arrests of high-level political people and high-level elites that have been committing all these crimes without being punished. So they're going to make all these high-level arrests while we're on quarantine, and then they're going to switch to an all-gold world currency, and everyone's going to join together and rebuild the new world.
Here's to kind of to
I
add
don't
something
agree
from
with that.
So
earlier.
many problems with that.
No.
Travis,
One of
is
the,
it-
one of the
does a little
celebrities
kid
that
write
I think
this?
that smell like shit is probably Hillary Clinton. That's the first person that I thought of whenever you were talking about political revolution. I feel like she smells like shit.
He probably smells like death.
She's got all those emails, bro. The email probe.
I was gonna say something. I'm not gonna say it.
But yeah, good show. Good show.
Okay.
I've heard the whole. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I got one thing that I think we can. We all play video games. Michael, my last question to end it off: what is your quarantine game? What is the game that you
Quarantine
will play
game,
throughout the
sure.
quarantine?
I gotta
Quarantine
finish,
game of choice.
I gotta finish Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
So
I gotta
good.
finish that.
Where are you at right now? Where are you at?
I only finished like the first act. Like,
Oh my
I
god.
got through like the tutorial and all that.
I just bought
Oh.
Watch Dogs 2 on sale, so I'm gonna try that.
I heard that was a lot better.
Okay.
I didn't really like the first one, but I heard the second one was actually like good.
I heard
Okay.
there's a lot more hacking, and it's a lot more about hacking, a lot less about the guns. You know.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
need a good story game. But whenever Half-Life Alyx comes out for VR, I'll be playing that, and then
We'll just
And you'll get
right,
some
right
exercise.
now,
You'll get some exercise because the gym is closed.
exactly. And then I'm also playing Call of Duty Warzone. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I mean, I'm stuck doing Siege because that's my job. But on the weekends, I'm trying to have a little fun.
Dude, hook up with
I
us.
can't go to the bar. So
Hook up with us and play Warzone. We fun.
Warzone is pretty fun.
we'll clap them.
I usually just play
Nice.
FIFA or Warzone or whatever's free on
already,
PSN.
Greg, I know that my subscribers are a lot lower than yours. Do you have anything to pimp?
I was gonna say my
Um,
game.
Oh, say your game, and then we'll do it.
I was gonna say,
Oh, yeah, we
since
just
it's in
completely forgot
height
about
of,
Will.
don't worry,
Nobody
it happens
asked
all the
questions,
time.
yeah.
Brandon forgets about me 24/7.
Oh, I love you, Will.
That felt deeper.
I was gonna say, since it's in light of the coronavirus, I'm gonna play Last of Us and Last of Us.
Okay, fair enough.
That's a good one.
They're both good. They're good.
Plague Inc.
But yeah, Greg, do you have anything to pimp out? Even though my 1,000 subscribers isn't
Roll out the red carpet.
Watch twitch.tv/Yun_Gregor on weeknights. And that's it.
Okay.
Thanks for being on the show, man.
I
Yeah,
appreciate
Thanks
you.
for having me. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, I like doing this kind of stuff.
It's shooting the shit. It's what's up. I really enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Like as always, we were more guest focused this time around. But if you guys have any input, have any topics for us, just in general, go ahead and shoot me an email at drspinshootimpress@gmail.com, and we'll read it on the show. That's right. You can be featured on the Real Sensitive Guys. Fantastic, right? Other than that, be sure to let us know that you enjoyed it in the comments, or give us a like or a dislike. Doesn't matter, as long as you're not apathetic towards us. And that's about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy Brandon. You
I'm
guys just
Oliver.
listen. Oh.
Oh, damn.
Wait. Travis, go.
Travis.
Will.
And I'm Will.
And you listen to the Real Sensitive Guys. Thank you very much, and good night.
Quarantine gang.